Hi, I'm Kojo. Welcome to Commander class. In today's class, we'll be going over Sagas. I absolutely love Sagas. They are a great ability, and I can't wait to go through this entire thing. So let's go. So to start off, we're going to be talking about what is a Saga. It is an enchantment card that when you play it, it comes off as a story-esque thing. So when you play the card for its mana cost, it enters the battlefield and it comes in with a lore counter on it, which is kind of like the first section of the book. When this happens, an ability triggers and it will tell you what that first ability is. Then on your next turn, it gets an additional lore counter, which will then activate the second chapter, which then, whatever the second chapter is, happens. And then usually there's 3 chapters, sometimes there's more, there's like maybe, I'm going to say 2 to 4 cards that have more than 3 chapters, but majority have 3 chapters. And then the third chapter at the start of your next turn happens whichever the chapter says. Now it's one of those things it's harder to explain because it's one of those things that each different saga has pretty much 3 different abilities. Some say 4, 5 and 6, but that depends on the card. But the same happens then. At the beginning of your next turn, 4 happens, turn after that 5 happens, turn after that 6 happens, and then after all of the chapters are done or the lore counters are finished, the enchantment sacks itself. Now there is a cool thing you can do with these that are kind of difficult. There's not very many cards that work with it, but if you proliferate it, which means you can add counters of any type on additional counters, or if there's a way to put a lore counter on this, that activates whenever you do it. So if you play an enchantment saga, activate the first ability, and then you proliferate, you activate the second ability on your turn. But it also works if there's a way to get rid of counters, which again is quite hard. You play it, activate the first ability, play the card that gets rid of the counters, activate the first ability again. There's so many things you can do that are very complicated when it comes to sagas, and lots of different abilities that work with sagas too. But in this class, I'm just going over the basics of what they do and giving you that little nitpick there. So when it comes to sagas, there's a total of 113, so I won't be going through them all, but they come in 4 different sections. There's basic, creature, artifact, and land. Now, majority of them is basic. When it comes to creatures, there's only maybe like 8 to 12, we'll say from the top of my head. And then when it comes to artifacts and lands, there's only 1 of each, so the last 2 are very simple. I will not be going through all 113, but I will link all 113 down below if you want to see them yourselves. And again, when it comes to these, majority have 3, but some have 4, 5, 6, and plus on. When it comes to the basics, you pretty much play it, activate the first ability, and then wait 2 turns and sack it. That is the normal or average way to play sagas, and I'll be giving kind of 3 good examples of sagas. Fall of Thran, Kiora Best the Sea God, the Blood Sky Massacre. Next are creature sagas. Now when it comes to this, there's 2 variations of them, but they kind of belong together because there's not much of a change, but there is a change. I'll explain now. So there is creatures that turn into sagas. Now when it comes to this, there is a total of 5, and they are the 5 Praetors, and they are new. If you don't know what a Praetor is, or a Phyrexian Praetor, they are kind of, there's 1 of each color. They were the biggest threat to kind of the multiverse. I'm not a lore expert here, so I won't be going through all of the lore when it comes to Phyrexians, but they are very well known cards and very powerful, and their story has just ended. When it comes to these, the way they, like, this is their finalized cards, it was kind of like the creature form was at their peak, and then the other side is kind of like their morals, the story they wanted, kind of their, that's why sagas are known to be like stories. It is kind of like their final big thing. These cards are really cool because you literally play the creature and then flip it into the saga, and I'm pretty sure it flips back after the saga's done. Now the second version are sagas that turn into creatures. This was mainly in Kamigawa, I think majority of these were shown, where after the saga is completed, it flips into a creature that has a benefit based on it. So I'll be showing first the Praetor ones, and then I'll be showing some of the Kamigawa creature ones. Elish Norn, the Argent Etching, Jingataxius, the Great Synthesis, Sheoldred, the True Scriptures, Urabrask, the Great Work, Vorinclex, the Grand Evolution, Hidetsu Consumes All, Vessel of the All-Consuming, Inventive Iteration, Living Breakthrough, Jugen Defends the Temple, Remand the Rising Star, Okachi Made Manifest, the Kamiwa, Fable of the Mirror Breaker, Reflection of Kiki Chiki. Next is the Artifact. This is just one card. It was in an unset. If you don't know what an unset is, it's kind of like not a proper set. It's a comedy, hilarious, kind of jokey set. But in this one, some of the cards are actually playable. So they made a enchantment saga artifact with one key, not ability, but it is a normal saga. They just added it as an artifact for some reason. So because it's a thing, people might not count it, but it says saga, so I thought I didn't want to miss it out. So here it is on screen now. And then finally is the land version. There's only one of these, and to be honest, I think they should keep it as one of these because it's based on Urza, who is one of the most known and powerful people in Magic the Gathering. So having him have a land version that's actually quite powerful and pricey, and only him, does seem to make sense in my opinion. So here it is on screen now. Overall, I love Sagas. I think they're kind of underrated overall. The only thing I don't really like about them is when they're gone, they're kind of difficult to get out. There's not really many Saga commanders. There is one that came out in Lord of the Rings that everyone's gone crazy for, but I've never really made or thought of making a Saga deck, but it would be interesting to do. I do think Sagas are underplayed and really powerful, but as always, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know what is your favorite Saga. Let me know if you've actually learned anything in this class, all in the comments down below. Remember to like, subscribe, and follow me on all my social media, and I'll see you all in the next video. And if you like this class, we have last week's class here, a playlist with all the classes here, and a subscribe button here, which if you subscribe, it really does help. Please share my stuff around. I'm really enjoying doing this. I would love to see my channel grow.